So we are recording this webinar. You will receive a recording via email after the webinar. So give us about 48 hours to get it cleaned up, and then we'll send it to you by email. Please rewatch it at any time at elearning.viftraining.com. We will have a 10-minute Q&A at the end of the webinar. And if you feel you need to ask any questions, feel free to do that in the interim. 1-minute survey at the end of the event. If there are any technical issues with you, I would like you to send me a comment through chat, and I would appreciate if you can send me now the okay, if everything is okay with you. You can hear me and you can see the screen. So the word okay will suffice, letting me know that you can hear me and you can see the screen. I would appreciate that. This webinar comes with certificates, so you will receive a certificate at the end of the webinar. Today is Wednesday, so allow a Thursday to take place, and the team in the back office will send you your certificates. If you want more information about other webinars or courses, feel free to go to www.viftraining.com. Now this webinar is about Power BI, and I figured I wanted to show you an important slide that kind of captures everything that you need to know about a very high level in data analytics, specifically related to Microsoft, in data in general. You see, data and the analytics comes in 4 different ways, the 4 different levels, and we call it 4 different competencies. Competency one has to do with massaging data. That's when you have data that is not clean. We call it noisy data, dirty data, unstructured data, uncleansed data. So you use Excel to massage the data. Once you do that, and there are tools and techniques and formulas in Excel that allows you to cleanse the data. Once you do that, you hand over the data to reporting and analysis. That's the natural sequence of data is not clean. I clean it using Excel. Then what do I do with it? I prepare reports and analysis and and dashboards if I want. So that is competency number 2. We're still in the first level of Excel, that we're using pivot tables. And because we're using pivot tables, it is important that we learn that in pivot tables, there are 19 rules of pivot tables. Once I finish that, then I might want to do something kind of higher level with data. Maybe I want to do some what-if analysis, scenario analysis, data tables, spinner. I want to do some modeling, business modeling. That is level 2. And I continue to use Excel for that competency. And then I say, okay, I'm going to do what we call integration, which is linking Excel with multiple sources. So it's not only now you're linking with Excel to Excel, if you will. You can link other sources with Excel. You can link internet, web, you can link text, Access database, SQL, another Excel, XML, different sources with Excel. And in that part, specifically the level 2 integration, linking and connecting, Excel has came a very long way. Microsoft developed that competency and that tool in Excel itself to the point where nowadays in Excel 2016, 2019, and 365, you have reached a very high level of connectivity with other sources that allows you to connect to Excel. It becomes really the foundation of data analytics in this level. It is interestingly enough to say that this integration has a tool that is called Power Query, which is the backbone of Power BI. Now we'll talk about it in just a minute. And then we move on to the final competency in level 2, which is called automation. And that is using macro visual basic applications where you automate repetitive tasks for Excel to do that on your behalf so you can save on time and effort. Level 1 and level 2, we call them the bedrock of Excel and data analytics, and you can do so many things. In 2010, Excel came up with something called Power Pivot. And Power Pivot is pivot tables, but with steroids, if you will. It's called Power Pivot. And the reason why Microsoft came up with Power Pivot is that because they wanted to make sure 3 problems that happens with pivot tables are taken care of. What are these 3 challenges? I'm not going to say problems, but there are challenges. The first one has to do with size. Excel has 16,384 columns and 1,048,560 76 rows. 1,048,576 rows. If you wanted to bring in data, and nowadays we're working with data, maybe 2 million, 3 million, 10 million rows, 20 million rows, Excel cannot handle that. So what would I need to do? Everybody uses Excel. 90+% of population uses Excel. So no matter what you do with work or what work you do, you use Excel to handle data. So now I have 2 million rows of data. What do I do with it? Excel cannot handle it. Power Pivot can. And Power Pivot uses a technology called data model. In a data model, you can house as many rows as you want. You want 400 million rows, not a problem. Obviously, the speed and the processor of your computing machine will make sense now. We've had an earlier webinar that is called Power Pivot. So I invite you to go and take a look at it. It's free, and I will explain the Power Pivot for you. So this Power Pivot, so that's the challenge number 1. Challenge number 2 with the Excel pivot table is the formulas. There are limited formulas in pivot tables. In Power Pivot, Microsoft came up with something called DAX formulas, data analysis expressions. So now the formulas becomes unlimited. You can do any kind of formulas you like. And the third challenge with pivot tables is that Excel pivot table can only pull information from one source. But with Power Pivot, you can pull information from multiple sources. Maybe I have 5 different spreadsheets. Each one looks at a different area or a different city. They all have the same structure, but it's just different sales data or different HR data or different financial data. And I need to take these 6 files and put them in one file in pivot tables so I can produce a higher level analysis. In pivot tables, I cannot do that. I would have to manually copy paste the data into one sheet, and then I'm going to put it into pivot table. But what if the data changes? So every one day you're going to do the whole process again over and over. It creates a problem for you. So Power Pivot came in the scene and says, don't worry about it. I can fix this. I can connect you with multiple sources at the same time. We can pull the information and you can do what you want to do. And after Power Pivot came, Microsoft, as I told you, in integration level 2, they said we are going to enhance the integration part. So they came up with something called Power Query. So I want to ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind, a couple of polls here. So I'm going to ask you the first one, and if you can answer, I appreciate it. So here's the first one. We'll give you a couple more seconds. Okay, so here we go. I'll share the results with you. So about 80% said that yes, they don't know anything about Power BI, and 20% they said we know about Power BI. I want to share with you another poll, if you don't mind. Have you used Power Query before? Okay. 2 more seconds. Okay, so here we go. The 60% said no, and 40% said not sure. Interesting. Power Query in Power BI becomes the most important friend that you want to be with. Okay, so what does that mean? You see, when they did Power Pivot and they went into Power BI, so why did they do Power BI? Well, they did Power BI for a couple of reasons. One of them is I would like to produce state-of-the-art dashboards that I would like to collaborate with and share with my team members, and I would like to have this updated every second, every minute, and I want to be able to put it on the web, and that becomes the high-level business dashboard for my division, for my unit, for my department. But to get to the Power BI, Excel, Microsoft says we need a tool that will allow me to pull data from anywhere I want. And that anywhere I want means I can pull data from text, and at the same time, I can pull data from Excel, and a third from Access, and a fourth from the web, and a fifth from SQL. And we have 5 different sources separately. I can pull information from them at the same time and have them into what we call Power BI, so that I can produce all kinds of dashboards that I like. But how do you do that? Power BI depends, if I will, 90% on this, what we call Power Query. Power Query is a tool, is a very high level tool. It is very easy to use. I'm going to show it to you in the next few minutes. That will allow you to do all that stuff, and it will allow you to do what we call the ETL. So that is basically what Power BI and Power Query is about. So here we go. So we say Power BI, Power Business Intelligence, is equal to ETL. E is for extract, so I can extract from anywhere I want. And when I extract, I use the Power Query tool within Power BI to pull information for me. And then I'm going to move on to something called Transform. And I will take that information and I will transform it into all kind of data that I need. I can do all the aggregations, I can do the formulas, and I can do what have you that you need with this data. And then I'm going to go on to what we call load, and I can load it to what we call Power BI or Excel or data model or any of these two, if you will, bases, data holder that I can do things with it. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So if you're ready, I'm going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this. Okay, and I'm sorry. So we're going to go on to Power BI. So I'm going to open Power BI. Power BI is a free tool that anyone can use, and you can download free of charge, and you can work with it. It's not a trial, it's 100% free tool. The only time you will need to pay for Power BI is when you want to publish your reports to the Power BI, we call it Power BI service, and then you want to collaborate with others. And the price that you pay is $10 per month per user. So this is the Power BI desktop screen. So it's a tool that will pull in information and will produce all kinds of reports. So if you have not attended the Power Query webinar with me before, then I strongly also encourage you to go to e-learning at VIF training, and you will find the Power Query tool webinar. You watch it and you'll get a better feel of how you can use the Power Query within Power BI. So the objective of this now is to take a look at Power BI and how it works. So this is the screen that I can see here. And in this screen, I will be doing so many different things. So let me just let me share this screen with you. So that's the screen for the Power BI. Okay. Now, in this Power BI, I can get data, and that's the objective of it. So it's a tool to get data. There's a lot of nice things here. You can watch videos, training videos. You can do that, and you can read what's new. You can look at forums. You can look at the blog. There are tutorials that you can do, beautiful things. You can watch all the videos over here. But we are going to approach it from a practical point of view. We're going to get data. So I'm going to get data, and it's going to tell you where is the data coming from. And it gives you so many different options, as you can see here. You can get data from anywhere you want. I mean, it's unbelievable. You can go to Google Analytics, you can go to Facebook, you can go to LinkedIn, Instagram, anything you want, and you can pull data from there. So in this webinar, we're going to pull data from Excel. I can pull data from Access, from text, all that stuff. But given the time, I'm going to show you how Power BI works. So I'm going to connect to Excel. And then it's going to ask me, where is that Excel? Now I have that file, and I will share these files with you tomorrow. When they send you the certificates, they will give you the files so you can practice on your own. You can watch the webinar and you can practice. As you can see, there are 3 files here. These files are not connected together. They have different information. So I'm going to open the file. So I'm going to open file number 1. And it's going to open the file. As you can see, and then it's going to ask me, in that file, there are a customer and there are customers. So basically, both are the same. This is the sheet, and this is the table inside the sheet. And this is the table, as you can see that. So that's the table. And if you've attended the Power Query, you would have understood transform data. I can go inside this data and I can transform it. I can do all kinds of things with it, as you can do with Excel. You know, when you want to slice and dice data, you want to do merge, you want to do upper score, you want to do formulas, you can do all that stuff in transform data. But we are going to load the data because the data is clean for me. So I'm going to load it. And as you can see here, when the data is clean, you can see it on the right side. Here we go. That's the customer. Okay. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the second one. So I'm going to go again, I'm going to go over here into home, and there's Excel. So this is data. I'm going to go to Excel. So I'm going to pull in the second file, which is product. I'm going to pull it under here. So go product. I'm going to load it. So now I'm loading the data here. I'm going to do the third one, sales. I'm going to load that. So as you can see here, I got 3 files here. And each file has its own components. It has its own field. Those are columns. A column for the city, a column for the country, and so on, for all 3 files. Now, on the left side, you see there are 3 things. The first one talks about the model. Let's take a look at that. What's that model? If you see here, this is the model. It says, show me what is the hierarchical connection between these files. So as you can see here, the sales files is the file that holds many data. Okay, and the product file is a reference file, and the customer file is a reference file, and they're all connected. For example, it figured out that the product and the sales file are connected through a primary key, and that is called the product key. This is the product key. Although this is not called the product key, but it is actually the product key. And on the other file, you got customer key and customer. So this tells me this is how the 3 files are connected together. And these are the 3 files. I can expand them so you can see. These are the 3 files. and they're connected in this way. I need to be able to establish this connection. I must establish this connection. It is fundamental for me to establish this connection. Are there any questions that you have? So feel free to ask me any questions at any point in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer. Okay, so we have established that Power BI was able to connect the files together through primary keys. The second one that I want to show you is the actual data. So if I'm here highlighting customer, here's the customer, this is the data for customer. And that's the customer key. And if I go to sales, highlight sales, also this is the customer key. So this is called the customer, which is the customer key. And if I click on product, this is the data for product. So the second one that says data is actual data. So the first one is the model, how is it connected together? It must be connected. For me to produce the dashboards, I need to be able to connect these. The second one has to do with the data itself, and you can view it here. And the third one is my report. Now, many of you, it's called the canvas. This is the canvas, where you paint things when you do your dashboard. Now, many of you, almost most, think that when you produce your KPIs here, when you produce your graphs here, you have done your dashboard. That is not the fact. That is not the case. In technical term, in Power Business Intelligence term, this is called the report. Whatever you do here is called the report. And that report comes in pages. Page 1, you can do page 2, you can do page 3, you can do many pages. After that, after I do all my pages and I do all my graphs and analysis and cards and KPIs, then when I take it to Power BI service, I will be able to produce my dashboard, and I will show you that. So as you can see here, we have the model, we have the report, and we have the canvas, or the report, the data, and then we have the reports, the canvas, right? So now I need to produce something from these, and I figured that I can share with you the following. So let me just do this. I'm gonna share screen again, but I would like to share the screen, so the whole screen, so you can see the whole thing here. Okay, and the screen here is basically the following. So I have the following requirements. I'd like to create from this, the report that I have, okay, I'd like to create a stack bar chart. So I'd like to do a stack bar chart. Sales by city. So here we go. We take a look at this. This is a stack bar chart. So I'm going to click here and it gives me the chart. I can maximize that chart. As you can see, it gives me where it stops if it's in the middle of that canvas. And the same thing applies here. There you go. That's the middle. So that's my stack bar. Now I would like to do what? I'd like to do sales by city, right? So it is sales by city. So I'm going to go over here to my customer and I find the city. So when I take the city and put it in the axis, and then I'm going to go to my sales, which is under sales file, the amount, which is the sales. I can actually go here and I do what? Rename, and I can call this sales. So this is the sales. I'm going to take the sales, I'm going to put it under value. So now I have produced sales by city. So the first thing is you produce the KPI or the graph. And the second thing is, and you produce it from what we call here, the fields. You can see that. And then you want to go to the second tab here. It's called the format. So if I go to the format, I can do so many things on this chart. One of the things that I would like to do is data labels. So I'd like data labels to show up. So if I click here, the numbers show up. And you can do things with the data labels. You can change the color for the data label if you want. As you can see that. And you can bold them and you can increase the decimal. You can do so many different things. We don't have the time, to do all that stuff here because there are so many things we are going to do. This is a webinar. I want to show you what is Power BI and how you use Power BI. All right, so we've done this and we like it, so we keep it as is. And then we move on, we click on the canvas, and let's take a look at the second requirement. And the second requirement says, I want map sales by city. So I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna click on map. As you can see, this is a pie chart, this is a donut chart, this is a map, and this is a filled map. So I'm gonna go to the map, click on the map. As you can see, it produces exactly the same dimension, which is nice for me, so I don't need to redesign the size of it. And then I need to do it by what? So let's take a look at it. I want sales by city. Again, sales by city, just kind of to show you, or maybe we'll do it by country. How about that? Just kind of a chain. So we click on the country and it will automatically put it where? In the location. And here we go. These are the countries that we have, or the continents, if you will. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the sales and take the sales and I click on it and it will put it where? Under the size here, right? So that's the size of the map. So this is the size of the sales, if you will. When I click on the map, you can zoom in. See that? So I can zoom into Australia and I can see more information, if you will. I can zoom out using the map. I can zoom in, as you can see. So it shows you that. However, if I change the country and I put city, as you can see, you'll be able to get a better feel of where is sales coming from the US, at what level, is it a smaller amount? You can see here, you know, and so on and so forth. It gives you the city name, gives you the amount of sales. Okay, so that's the sale that we're talking about, sales by city. And then I'm going to go into what is called the line chart, profit by sales by year. So profit by sales, profit obviously by year, right? So I got here profit and sales by year. So profit by year. So let's see how that works. I need a line chart. So line chart, this is a line chart. Sorry, line chart. Here we go. All right. I need a profit and I need a year. So I'm going to go to the year, and the year can be, as you can see here, there's a hierarchy. Power BI automatically takes the date, and the date, as you can see here, if I take a look at the date, that's the date. We're looking at the sales file. That's the date. It takes the date and it breaks it into day and month and quarter and year, which is something very nice for me to have. So I'm going to take the whole date, if you will. Okay, so I'll take the whole date and I'll put it in the axis. I'll show you why in just a minute. So now you've included the year, the quarter, the month, and the day. And then I need to put profit. Now I don't have profit here. So how can I get profit? Well, it turns out that if I want profit, I can do what is called a quick measure or a new measure, a kind of a formula in Power BI. So let me show you a quick measure. So quick measure here. And in that quick measure says you can do things like aggregate per category, filters, time intelligence, totals, mathematical operations. I want a profit. Profit is sales minus cost, so it's a subtraction. What is the base field? The base field is sales and subtract the cost. And then I click OK. You notice here, it produces something called what? Sales minus cost. And it shows up here, sales minus cost. That is called the M language in Power BI. So now I'm going to go here and do a couple of changes. So instead of sales minus cost, I'm going to call it profit. And then click OK. So now I have profit. Profit is a calculated field, it's a measure. I'm going to take that profit and put it in the values. So now I have the profit per year. And the reason why I showed you and I told you that I'm going to put in the whole date there is that you can do what we call a next level drill down. So this is by quarter, and this is by month, and this is by day. So this is my profit by day for that company, as you can see that. And if you can go up, then you drill up to the years. Okay, and then I can add in the, I think I need to add the sales also. So we needed to add it, the profit and the sales. As you can see here, that's the difference between profit and sales, and it shows up. Are you okay? Any questions? Everybody seems to be okay. Okay, great. Now we're going to do the fourth one, and the fourth one has to do with pie chart sales by continent. So I'm going to do a pie chart. Here's a pie chart. And sales by continent. So obviously the country is really the continent here. I'm just going to put in the country here, which is the continent, and then I'm going to put sales. So there you go. So it gives you the amount in million and how much does that represent as a percentage of total. As you can see here, the US ranked #1, then comes Australia, then Kingdom, United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Canada. So now I have finished my first report. Remember, this is not called dashboard, it's called report. Just remember that, so that's my report. I can produce now another one. So I'm going to go to page number 2. And then I'm going to go over here to tree map sales by color. So let's see, tree map. So tree map will look like the following. That's a tree map. And I'm going to make it centered and centered. To just show you different types of visualization. So I need, again, sales by color. Sales, so I'm going to click on sales, and it puts it in the value. And then I need the color, so I'm going to go to the product here and select the color, and the color goes in the group. And you can see black is the #1 sold color, followed by red, silver, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go to the format of that, and then maybe I'm going to data label, I'm going to put it on, so I give you the number, as you can see that. So the numbers show up. That's nice. I like that. Then we go in and we say matrix, quarter column, quarter on column, and color on row. So I need a matrix, and a matrix will look like this. That's a matrix. And I have the color, and then I have the quarter. So I'm going to go to the date. I'm going to go drill down a little bit. I'm going to take the quarter, click on it, and that becomes the quarter. But here, as you can see, the row and the column. So if we put both on the row, I'm going to take the quarter, I'm going to put it in the column. It goes like this, and then I'm going to put the profit. That's the profit per column, per quarter, per sold color. Okay, looks nice. And then I'm going to go over here and say number 5, I need the filter, year filter. So I need a year filter. So what is a filter? A filter looks like the following. That's a slicer, a filter. A filter is a slicer. Obviously, I'm not going to make it that size because it's just too much. I'm going to probably make it this size, and I'm going to do a filter by year. So I'm just going to click on it, and then I can select from different types. I can do a drop down, or I can just do a list. So, and then maybe I'll just make it smaller because they only have 4 years here. And then I can go to the format. This is a slicer, so I'd like to have a border around it. And that border could be in different color. As you can do these things. And then you can have a title. We have that. The items could be in different colors. We can do that color if you want. Okay. You can have a different background, for example. So you can see you can do these things however you like, but I'll leave that up to you to make the decision on. So here we've done a slicer. Then we move on to auto filter. Now we go into a filter by country. Okay, so I need to do another filter. I can just do copy, visual, and then Control V. I can paste it, I can move it around, I can put it over here, and then instead of the date, I can put in the country. And maybe I'll make it just a little bit bigger, but then I need to do that the same, just kind of to have symmetry. Okay. Then I have something called a card. So I need to do 5 cards here. Card. So what's a card? A card is something that looks like the following. That's a card. Okay, it's kind of a KPI that you want to show that produces certain result. So here's a card. I need the card for cost, total cost. So here we go. So I'm going to go to the cost. There you go. And then I need to produce another card. I'm just going to copy and paste. And this one is for probably sales. And another one. I'm just trying to, right? And this one is for profit, for example. And then we have one for count of products. So again, I'm just going to copy this over here. And this is going to be count of products. I'm going to take the product. So here we go. I'm going to take this product name. Okay. And I am going to click on it. And I'm going to say count distinct. I just want the count of the distinct products that I have. If a product has been sold 100 times, I only want it to count 1 time. Okay. Let's take a look at a question. Does Power BI just use to visualize data? Primarily, visualization is the end result of Power BI. So it is important to know that most of the work is done on the Power Query, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay, so stay with me. I'll come back to this. The data actually comes from transform data. You can see that transform data. And you can see it says Power Query Editor. That's where you want to transform all kind of data. I still have the customer, the product, and the sales. So all the calculations, all the formulas, all the cleansing, all the additional columns, all the calculations, all the KPIs can be produced here. All the cleaning can be done here through transform, through add columns, and through some other tools. And I've covered this in a prior webinar called Power Query, right? The magic of Power Query. So go and get that and watch it and get a better feel. Once we do what we want to do here, then we say close and apply. So remember when we said ETL, E is the extract, P is the transform. That's where you do most of your transformation. You still can do some transformation in Power Query, but 95% of transformations is done through Power Query, not Power BI. So 95% of the transformations are done through Power Query, 5% about is done through Power BI, and that's why Power Query, as we said, is primarily to produce the results and show them and share them. Okay. Another question, can you share the link of the Power BI Query webinar here? Let me, I'm not sure I have access to the back office table, but let me see if I can do that. I'll be more than happy. Right after the webinar, I can share that with you if I find it. If not, tomorrow morning, you will get a link with that, with the email that you have. I'll let the team know to share with you the data and the link to download Power BI and also the webinar link. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, so that's the 5th one. And the 6th one that we need to do is the 5th one, I mean, that we need to do. Oops, sorry. is country distinct. So country is distinct, right? Or city is distinct here. So let's see where that is. So I'm going to take the city. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to put the city here and say how many cities did we sell to? Those are distinct cities. Now, why is that important for me? That is important because here I'm doing 2013. If I change that and I do, for example, Australia, you can see it changed. The number of cities within Australia has changed. Everything changed here. Canada, I'm still selling all kind of products, by the way, to them. So that did not change. Um, yeah, so we can see everything changes, the cost changes, the sales changes, the profit, the cities that we said, how many cities we said in every country, as you can see, changes. Also the years changes here, okay? I think the only one that I have is this. I'm not sure why I have this here. I'm just gonna reproduce it again. So it gives me something different. I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna put it in the product key. And this is the count of how you go distinct. I think that works now. If I select, it still doesn't change. Okay, it's just the nature of the product. It is, you know, it's just listing all of them. Okay. All right. So now I produced what I want to produce, as you can see here. And I can go over all these, and you can practice and figure out what you want based on your requirements and based on your needs. So now I'm done. The next step for me to do is what? Is to go in and say file and publish. So now I'm publishing this to publish to Power BI service. Do you want to save the changes? I'm going to save the changes, and I'm going to call it here. I'm going to put it on the desktop. Put it over here. Webinar Power BI. I'm going to save it. And now it's going to upload it to the Power BI service. And it says, where do you want it to go? Into my workspace or Virginia Institute of Finance? I'm going to say go to my workspace. I'm going to select. So it's publishing to Power BI, publishing webinar, Power BI, PBIX to Power BI. I'm done. Success. I'm going to go open the Power BI service. So now it goes to the web. It's the Power BI service. That's what you're going to see. It looks like the same thing. It is kind of the same thing. Let me share very important things with you. This is my workspace. And if I click on my workspace, I will find the following 4 things. I will find data set. And the data set is the actual files that I uploaded here. So here's the data set, and this is my webinar Power BI. I just uploaded this. That's the data set. The workbook, there are no workbooks here. If you want from the Power BI service, you want to import an Excel file, you can do that. So they're the same thing basically. A workbook and a data set is the same thing. You want to stay with the data set because in data sets you can produce dashboards much easier. Then I have something called the report. The report is actually the result of the work. So here's the data set. Let me show you. Power BI, that's the data set. These are the files, as you can see here. That's just the files. There's nothing here. And so I'm just gonna, that data set. The reports, I'm gonna go to Power BI. That's the actually the what I produced on Power BI desktop, and I upload it here. And then the dashboard, I don't have dashboards yet. So here's what we are going to do. I'm going to take a look at this and say, you know what? I have, sorry. Okay, I have page 1, I have page 2, right? Now I'm going to produce a dashboard now, and that dashboard is going to be composed of the following. So watch me here. I'm going to go, I like this one, so I'm going to click on the pin visual, and it says you want to pin visual to where? Existing dashboard or a new one? So I'm going to call it new one, and so I call it webinar dashboard. I'm going to say pin. So now I pinned it to the dashboard. I can actually go to the dashboard. So you go. So dashboard here, you can see here. Right? So I'm going to click go to the dashboard, and I'm going to go down and say webinar dashboard. Here we go. And you can see there's only one item there. Then I'm going to go back to the report again. I'm going to say I like the sales by country. So I'm going to pin that to my webinar dashboard, existing webinar dashboard. I'm going to pin it. Okay. And you can see that. And then go back again. And then I'm going to go to the second page. I'm going to pin this. That's 3. And then I'm going to pin this. I'm going to pin this one. That's 4. And then I'm going to pin these. This one I'm going to pin it. This one. Okay. And I have a question. I will answer it in just a second. So I'm going to pin all these here. Okay. Let me look at the dashboard now. As you can see, the dashboard now is composed of all these, the one that I have. So let me look at the question. If we want to share the work, can we make it only for read? Yes, of course you can. Of course you can make it only for read, or you can collaborate with others, give them access to allow them to edit if you want that. Okay? So that's good. That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. Now, the nice thing about this is now this is the dashboard, and you see what you can do with it. I can click here. I can move this around, right? I want to design it in a different way. I can take maybe these. I want to put this one here. I want to put this one here. I want to put 4 of these here, right? And then I have the 5th one over here. And then I'm gonna, take this, put it over here. So you can design in a way, or maybe I will tell you, maybe I'll do it this way. So I put all my KPIs on top. I can take these, put them here, 3 of them here, right? And then I can take this, put it here, and then I can go back again to the report. And then I have 2 more that I can just add just for the sake of it. I'm going to take this. I am going to add it. And I'm going to go to page 2. We've done these. I'm going to go to page 1. Maybe I'll just do this one just to show you. Okay. So now we go to the dashboard. Okay. So here are my dashboards. And I go to my dashboard. And the dashboard is webinar dashboard, as you can see. And then I can take this, put it here. And then I have created my dashboard. Now, so this is the dashboard. Any questions? Let me show you a couple of things that we can do. Now, this is not only, you can create these visuals using a very artificial intelligence way, really smart way. So let me show you that. This is my data set. So I can go to my data set. This is my webinar, Power BI. I can click over here, and I have a few options here. One of them is fundamentally important, get quick insights. So I can click on the get quick insights. Now, what is Power BI doing? Power BI is now doing the business intelligence and the artificial intelligence, if you will, to pull in relationships between all the sources of the data that you have, and actually it will produce visualization for you to use in this dashboard. So I'm done here. I'm going to view the insights. These are the insights. The nice thing about these insights, it's not only visual, but it's also written for you. So here it says sales by country. It says United States and Australia have noticeably more sales. and it shows you the graph. And you can see different type of charts, if you will, with visualization and analysis on it. And let's suppose I like this. So what do you do with it? You go over here and you pin visual, and you pin it to the webinar dashboard. And then you go and you like another one and you pin it. As you can see that. And then maybe this one over here, I'm going to take that, put it there, and then go to my dashboard. As you can see now, the dashboard also has these four. There we go, these three dashboards. So now this is your dashboard. You can take this dashboard. Obviously now it is saved on the Power BI service for you. That is the name of the dashboard, as you can see here. And you can do things with this. You can share this dashboard. And here's the access. So you give access to whoever, this is my name, Ayman Sadat, I'm the owner. You can share with others. You can enter the email address. You can give them, allow recipient to share that, allow them to edit, allow them to build, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's one of the things that you can do. You can also, under file here, you can save a copy. And if I go to my report here, I'll show you something. If I go to my reports, so this dashboard, let's clean this up a little bit. So I go to the report and I go to the Power BI webinar. I can do something here. Let me show you. I can export this to analyze in Excel. I can put it in PowerPoint. So let me just put it PowerPoint. So I'm click on PowerPoint. So current values, exclude hidden, report tabs only, don't exclude, report only current page, no export. Let me see what happens now. Let's give it a second. We have 3-4 minutes to go. So it says your report webinar, Power BI is being exported to PowerPoint file. This may take a few minutes. Okay, it will come there. Another thing that we can do while this is working, I can export and analyze in Excel. And I am going to do that, but it's not going to put it in a regular Excel. It's going to put it in a Power Pivot Excel. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so the Excel file is ready. All right, so here's the PowerPoint, here's the Excel. So let's see the PowerPoint first. That's the PowerPoint. That's the PowerPoint. That's what it's showing you. There we go. How nice is that? So you can produce these and you can just put them into PowerPoint. Let's take a look at the Excel one. So here's the Excel one. You'll see now the Excel comes in a Power Pivot, which includes multiple sources at the same time in one pivot table. So here's the pivot, here's the model. You click on the model. Just give it some time to expand. There we go. That's the customer database, that's the product, and that's the sales. You can see that. That's the relationship. And if I take the country, put it over here, and then I go to the sales, and I put it over here. Oh, I need to do measures, obviously. If I do the measures, we have the profit. Where did I put the profit? Sales, profit, here we go. There you go. And then I can fix this. I can clean it up. As you can see here. There we go. And there becomes my Excel. This is Excel, but it's not a pivot table. This is a Power Pivot. All right, there's a big difference because now I got multiple sources and I can do things. I can insert chart and I can go back to my old Excel where this is my Excel, and then I can maybe insert a slicer, as you know, insert slicer, and you can do slicer for the year if you want. We go down here for the date. Click OK. I was going to give me the date here. So, and you can do all that stuff, right? So this is basically for the date. I would have had created a new field that is called by the year. Okay. I am better off do a slicer maybe by the category. Much easier. Here we go. To show me accessories, as you can see, everything changes. Bikes, everything changes. Clothing, everything changes. Fantastic way of analyzing data. So you can see, we've taken data from raw sources into Power BI. We've done what we want. We produced what we want, and then we can send it back as an Excel back to Excel. That's the beauty of the Power BI. I hope you like this. This is a quick way of learning Power BI. Obviously, it is just touching on the high level. We did go a little bit on how to pull in information. We did a couple of transformation. We loaded it to Power BI service. We designed the graphs, and then we'd send it back to PowerPoint and Excel. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to entertain. Okay, you have been great. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. For other courses, webinars, e-learning, virtual courses on in the fields of finance, investment, accounting, data analytics, business intelligence, and project management, feel free to go to viftraining.com. We'll be more than happy to work with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. To all of you, you've been very kind and professional, and hope to see you again on other webinars. Thank you very much.